Hello again!
Keith really doesn't talk like that.
No, it's just kind of fun to do.
It is fun. It is fun.
So, hello everyone.
Howdy.
And welcome back. So we thought we would try something different for the first time. Instead of just doing a video on our iPhone, which is what you've been seeing before, we actually decided to set up the DSLR camera, which is a Canon 70D, that's actually well known for doing great video.
Who knew?
So we're going to give it a shot. It's just camera on a tripod, so camera on a stick. We're not using any fancy microphones or anything like that.
No,
so
sorry.
hopefully the audio is not too shitty.
If it is shitty, you'll never know because we won't post this.
That's right. So we're here in Agra.
Yes.
Our very last day. We're actually waiting to be picked up here in a bit to go to the train station. Mm-hmm. Our driver's going to come get us. And it's been a very nice day, would you say?
It has. The last couple of days have been really nice.
And it's because we haven't done much meeting.
We haven't.
We did work. We've done some work.
Did quite a bit of work.
But yesterday and all this morning, pretty much all day today, we've stayed in our hotel room and haven't left. We've seen all the major sites here. You know, certainly if we wanted to, we could have gone out and there's always something more to see. But see, the problem is what we're discovering about India, especially Agra, it's not cheap.
Well, it's not cheap because look at us. We look like people who have
Dollar signs.
Dripping of money.
That's
just
right.
Money, money, money.
So when the local people see us, they see dollar signs basically. And it's not just us, it's basically any Western travelers.
Or whatever the ruby sign is.
So that basically started in New Delhi, and that has been the theme continuing here. And here there's lots of monuments, lots of major historical sites. Of course, we weren't aware Agra is where the Taj Mahal is. But it's really expensive to get in. Mm-hmm. And what's really interesting, it depends on who you are, right? So if you're local, it's not expensive at all. You can get into the Taj for like 50 rupees, which is the equivalent of less than $1.
Oh yeah.
But if you're a foreigner,
it's like 72 cents.
it's gonna cost you a lot more than that.
Yeah, a couple of thousand.
So a couple thousand rupees each. It's equivalent to about $17 a person, US. And so you go to the next monument and guess what? They have an admission fee too. Mm-hmm. You go to the bathroom and they have an admission fee. Every place you go to has an admission fee. That's right. So it gets relatively expensive. So, you know, we've been on a budget. How have we been doing on the budget?
I think we've been doing okay. It is a little nerve-wracking though because it's, you know, we're just in the middle of our trip.
Right.
We still have quite some ways to go.
Right.
And our little money pot is getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
But I reassured Francis, don't worry too much because we have made almost all of our airfare arrangements. That's all been paid for, and so that pot is supposed to get small. It's supposed to get down to zero. But we still have one or two more flights left,
right?
And we're kind of getting down to hardly nothing in airfare.
So if one of you guys, Heather, Michael, Abdul, you guys might get a phone call to wire some money.
So Western Union, they're everywhere. Mm-hmm. But anyway, maybe we'll do a separate post later on our budget.
Yeah.
How we came up with the dollar amounts and how we're doing at the end. All right. So what are we going to talk about first?
Well, I actually wanted to talk about our impressions here in India. Now, this is day 11. So day 11 for us, we have gone through a whole just roller coaster of emotions, from the excitement of getting on the plane and heading to New Delhi to getting off the plane with a bazillion people out looking for our taxi driver in New Delhi who wasn't there, and then trying to find the hotel down a very dusty, dirty road, and like scared the bananas out of me, if you can do that. And then going to our hotel room, and it was filthy, at least by American standards, it was filthy.
By American standards.
So got that taken care of.
We basically ended up, we did get the sheets changed and we cleaned
We
our
got a
own
roll.
room.
We got a roll of toilet paper too, which was super
Yeah,
helpful.
yeah. And we cleaned
Yeah.
our own room. Once the room got cleaned,
Mhm.
it was quite comfortable.
So anyway, there's just been this whole roller coaster of emotions. But also, we're not typical tourists. And people are, they're very taken back by what the heck are we doing? Most of the folks that we talk to, they think that we're staying in one place way too long.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't understand what we're doing with all our time.
And not only the local people here, but probably some of you don't really understand what we're up to either. 'Cause
That's true.
I know that just from some of the comments that we get, I know the impression that some of you have is that we're basically on this big vacation, right?
Mhm.
But Francis, are we on vacation?
No, we're not on vacation. And people will say, "Oh, that's the trip of a lifetime." Well, unless our
Not
life ends
exactly.
pretty soon.
Yeah,
But
and-
we're
and-
planning
and
on doing
unless
a lot
we-
of traveling.
Never decide to come back here.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a trip of
That's
a
true.
lifetime.
I have said that about New Delhi.
Yeah.
That could be the trip of a
Trip of a
lifetime.
lifetime.
But so anyway, what we're talking about is slow traveling. So we would consider ourselves slow travelers. So what does that mean? And that means that we're not moving very fast.
Mhm.
That means that we are not trying to hit 1,000 different places. We're not hitting all the hot spots and then moving on to the next place.
Mm.
I think at one time in my life I probably would have done that, especially if I had a limited amount of time and I felt like, it really would be the last time I would be traveling someplace. And it's those travelers or tourists that work really hard to get to wherever they're headed, take the picture of them in front of the sign, and then go to the next place.
Yeah.
And gosh, they just miss out on so much, at least from my perspective.
And it's exhausting. That way of traveling is freaking exhausting.
Yeah, I think all of us have had situations where we've come home from vacation and like we need a vacation from the vacation.
And to be fair, the reason that most people travel that way is because with their typical American lifestyle, you work, and you get like 1, maybe 2 weeks off a year
Right,
at the max.
right.
And so you plan this big vacation, and of course,
Yes.
it's your one shot, one chance, and it may be the trip of a lifetime to that
Yeah.
place. And you want to get in as much as you can, and you want to see it
Mhm.
all. So one of the things that I've had to kind of reel myself in on and learn is that I don't have to go see everything. Again, here in Agra, we did go see, the Taj Mahal and a couple of other locations, but there's a lot more here we could have spent
Right.
seeing. But
Right.
again, that would have been more money, it would have been more time, it would have been exhausting. And we don't like to be exhausted.
Also, we're just not really well versed on Indian history, so we go see a monument. Okay, nice monument.
But one of the things that's
We don't
been,
really know what it's about.
one of the things that's been helpful with that is hiring a tour
True,
guide.
but
But then,
do you remember half the things he says?
I don't remember everything he says, but I get some major
He's-
points. And then you can go back and kind of read up on it.
True,
True. If needed.
So anyway, we're doing slow traveling. And the other thing that that kind of morphs into that is we really have taken on this lifestyle of being location independent. So location independent pretty much means what that says. Keith and I both are involved in several streams of income and different jobs and workings that we are doing.
We're
So-
working on a couple of different
So
streams.
so there's different things that we're working
Yeah.
on, but the point is, it's all, the commonality is the internet. So having the internet and be able to work online and being connected with people, that's kind of that's really our
Mhm.
lifeblood. So the internet is most everywhere. Well, it's sort of most everywhere, but we're learning that we don't necessarily have to be in one particular place. Now, when we get finished with all of this Southeast Asia and Asia kind of travel and India and all this good stuff, we'll eventually end up back in Oregon, mid-November, end of November timeframe. And we'll see how things go from there.
But we already have another trip planned for January. So
We do.
of
We
next
do.
year. We're
We
coming
do.
back to Thailand, and we're bringing Heather and Abdul back with us. Michael, you can come too.
All of you guys
And
can
whoever
come.
wants to come, please come.
So one of the other things that with the location independence that we're discovering, Keith and I, we've been together 20 years. High five, man. For those that know me, this is a record. So anyway, we've been together for 20 years, and we are having to live in some very small spaces, get to know each other on a totally different level, and I think it's working out pretty good.
But it does have its challenges.
Yep.
Right? Living in a small space, always being together. How have been one of the ways that you've coped with that? Because it is challenging at times.
Well, I just try to be mindful of what the heck you're doing and try to be respectful, and you're very respectful what the heck I'm doing. So we have co-working spaces that
Right.
we've utilized. We will, I think always we've worked really well together in a smaller space. Even when we lived in a huge house, we would migrate into the same location.
And then if I'm actually working, trying to get some work done, I'll let Frances know. And it's really all about open communication, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on this. I need to get this done. And she understands that means don't be bugging me about something else.
Do I bug you?
Sometimes you will
Okay.
jump from one thing to another.
Imagine that.
Anyway, let me focus on this. And because in the beginning it was, oh, let's do this. Oh, we need to take care of that. Oh, have you done this? Well, I'm still trying to do the first thing. Right? And so we've kind of had to work through that, but we've got that
We
under
survived
cover.
it.
And then another thing that we do, and we've done this for a long time, is we do something I refer to as parallel play. So we're not playing, but maybe you could call it parallel work. And where this comes from is in childhood development. When you think about toddlers, when children get up to the age of about 3 years old, is it toddlers? There's a certain child development stage.
My children are old.
There's
now.
a certain child development stage where they do parallel play. If you put
they'll be in the
if you
same room
put
together.
two little boo-boo bears side by side,
They won't play
they
with
will
each
appear
other.
to be playing together, but they're actually not. One kid's playing with his toy choo-choo train, the other kid's playing with their Barbie dolls, and they're not really interacting with each other, but they're in the same space. So we oftentimes do that with their work, and it works for us. And we're very respectful of each other, and we'll use our headphones if we have some audio stuff going on or whatever. And,
Yes.
So it's working.
So one of the things that we, although we're together and we spend a lot of time and we chat and just spending airspace together is very wonderful. But we also have found that through this traveling, we're having to really stay connected with our family and friends. And how are we doing that? So we schedule times to actually call. We attempt to call. Sometimes people don't answer the phone. I'm just saying. You know who you are. And then we connect over Facebook and Instagram. So we are staying connected with our friends and family and through situations, or media like this, where we're going to have this posted and have this available.
Yes, and we enjoy following everyone else's life
Right.
adventures on Facebook, social media. I'm big on Instagram. Just FYI, in case you are curious, I go to Instagram first. Because I always do. Because it's photocentric, first of all. And there's not as much extra with
Not yet.
Instagram as there is with Facebook. But anyway, we do stay quite connected with social media.
So one of the things that people have asked us is things like, why India? Like, why are you guys doing this big trip? What's going on? We don't really understand what's happening. So Keith, why are we in India?
So for me, coming to India is a photographer's dream. And so it's so different. It's so exotic. It's unlike anything we've ever experienced in our life before.
That would be true.
And to capture those type of things with the camera is really my goal. We definitely have a wanderlust for travel, and so India kind of captivates that, enhances that. A couple of things we're discovering about being here in India is it always forces you to get out of your comfort zone.
Oh my God.
I think that can be a really positive thing, though, and helping us to become better, smarter, wiser travelers.
We've definitely redefined comfort.
Definitely. So for you westernized Americans over there who are very comfortable in your space or whatever, obviously that is one thing that prevents many people from traveling in the first place, right?
Right.
Is because they don't want to leave their comfort zone.
And you have to respect that.
And you have to respect that. And that's okay. If that's you, you don't have the Wonderbuss like we do. But if you do decide to trek out like we did, you're going to have to make some adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be flexible. And you're going to have to lower your standards a little bit too.
So one of the other reasons, so we came to India because of the photographer's dream, but we also have, I don't know how many of you guys are aware of this. Mr. Robbins over here, he's a fabulous photographer. And not only is he a very good, extraordinarily awesome photographer, he is a great teacher. And he has helped many people with their photography and understanding how to get out of the auto settings from their cameras. So one of the things that we kind of thought about was how cool it would be to have destination photography workshops.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how cool is that? Taking a group of people, not a huge group, maybe 4 or 6 people, not huge, but taking a group of people to a destination
Such as India.
that they would never have typically would have gone on their own.
Right.
Whether it's because they never thought it was possible, or maybe they were fearful of it. But part of why we're here in India is to do what we call a scouting trip, where we're kind of scouting out and we're establishing relationships with some of the local people to begin to kind of develop a plan so that we can hit some of these highlights in India as a destination photography workshop.
And we've made some significant connections
We have.
at every place, and we're tracking those,
Right.
getting
right.
people's contact numbers, because we know that it would be impossible for us to organize a trip like to India on our own, and you have to have that insider help.
Right.
It's just
Right.
impossible to do from the outside.
So what I envision, and what I think Keith has envisioned as well for the photography workshop, is this small group of people that come together. Ideally, we would be staying in a home, a villa, or a cohabitating space, maybe like an Airbnb or someplace, anyway, a home that we would rent out. And we would already have some guides set up and have some agendas, itineraries set up for all the different places we would be at, where Keith would take us out and you guys would be learning about how to capture that image that you're seeing. Then, when we get back to our space, we have like some ad hoc where he does some teaching, maybe go over some of the photo editing, whether it be Lightroom or Adobe Photoshop, right?
Right.
And to just kind of help people capture what their moments, capture those moments, be able to have something that they can be very proud of.
And be able to go home with some incredible images.
Yes, that they did.
Capture.
That they did.
And then we would talk more during that ad hoc time about, so now you have this image, what do you do with it? How can you get that image on the wall, basically? So.
And because it would be a small group, it would give us all a chance to really learn from each other. So that would be one of the things that we're trying to do right now.
So Carrie Owens, we've already tagged you. Keep watching. We'll put some dates out in the future.
Yes.
So time frame, just tentative time frame. It's not really coincidence that we came to India here in October. That was somewhat planned because of what we read in our previous research, and then we've really solidified since being here that this is a great time to come, actually. Yes. So potentially next fall.
Yeah, we're looking at like mid-October,
November,
beginning of November time frame.
Okay.
So enough of that little shameless plug.
What's next?
So what's ahead? We are getting ready to get on a train to Jaipur. I'm pretty nervous about it, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm nervous about it because our last train experience,
crazy banana sandwiches
from New Delhi.
Yeah, it was nuts.
It was so scary.
It was getting to the train station.
Let me just give you this picture. We got picked up from the train. We got picked up from our hotel at 6 o'clock in the morning, which was cool. We loaded our bags up. We're in this very large SUV vehicle, which is extremely important because you want to be super well padded with something stronger than, plastic while you're driving the expressway there in India, in New Delhi. Driver does not speak English, which isn't a big deal. He can see on his GPS where we're wanting to head to.
Mm-hmm.
So we're driving. We get to the train station. But hell, we don't know it's the train station. It's just like a million people walking in the streets. I'm thinking while I'm sitting there in the taxi, all these masses of people are going through the streets, going through the roads. We're driving. There's a car in front of us, car behind us, car on the side. There's like people around us. It's like an evacuation from some kind of horrible event that's happened. And people have their luggage on their heads. They've got their luggage like this. They're trying to pull luggage.
And there's so many people walking in the narrow
my
street that
God.
the car can't even pass
Yeah,
through.
so the car can't go. The people are pushing against the car. There's so many people. I think if they wanted to, they could have rocked the car.
Sure.
There was that many people. So this driver, who doesn't speak English, except for one word he can say, and that is, out, out, out. And we're sitting there in this car with all this wave of people going past us with their luggage on their heads and their whatever going on.
And we had to put on our backpacks.
And we
Right
got
back.
our backpacks,
Yeah.
and we've got our front packs, and we got like our satchels, and he's yelling out, 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 out. And we're like, where are we going? And then he points to the train station, which isn't really close by. But apparently he got as close as he could feel like he could get us. So I open up the car door, and I'm using the car door to kind of block the people. And then I'm maneuvering this big ass backpack on me, and which I'm getting really good at doing.
You are
that
getting
too.
very good at
like
this.
zoop, 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 it's on. And we get all of our stuff together, and as I get ready to as I'm doing the final lock or final tug on my backpack, he starts pulling away like the taxi driver is driving away, and we're standing there. So as he disappears into the sea of people, the people are all around us, and we're trying to maneuver like salmon going up the stream
Going upstream.
to the train station. Oh my God, it was horrible.
It was a crazy experience.
It was horrible. So we got to platform 5, waited for our train for 1 hour.
We wanted to
we
get there
got there
early because we
early.
didn't want to miss the train.
Yeah, because that would have been really bad.
Yeah.
So we got finally, so that's the experience.
Yeah.
So now we're getting ready to get on another train, and I'm a little nervous about that. But this will be the last train ride, I
Yes.
think.
I
I
think
it
so.
will. I think it
From
will
here
be.
on out, after Jaipur, we're basically traveling by car to one location and then by plane.
So Jaipur, don't know much about it except that there's wildlife sanctuaries out there. So
It's part of the Golden Triangle, which the Golden Triangle is New Delhi, Agra, Jaipur, and then you go back to New Delhi typically and fly out. And so we're not going back to New Delhi right away. What's
Nope.
after Jaipur?
So we're getting on a plane. So happy about that. Getting on a plane, and we're going to Mumbai. So Mumbai, also known as Bombay.
You may have heard it as Bombay.
Let's do Bollywood.
Bollywood. Bollywood.
Or
Okay,
this
that's
is
enough of
Bollywood.
that. All right.
So Mumbai is Bollywood.
Yes.
So we're gonna be in Bollywood, be in Mumbai for 4 days. We're staying at a hotel for 2 nights, and then they've offered to host us. The little couples offered to host us from couchsurfing.com. So we're gonna stay with
It's
some
going to be your
friends.
first couch surfing experience
We'll see how
as
that goes.
guest. Yes.
I think it'll be fine.
We did connect with a really nice gentleman in New Delhi on couch surfing, Raj. We spent 2 full days with him basically.
That was super awesome.
We didn't stay at his house, but he basically came and showed us around. So
Super
that was
nice
lots
guy.
of
We've
fun.
talked about him on other postings.
And then what's after only 4 days in Bombay? Why only 4 days?
Because it's crazy ass expensive.
Freaking expensive.
It's like going to San Francisco.
Yeah, it's
from India standards.
It's the India's equivalent to San Francisco.
So those
It's
of
on
you
the
that
West
know,
Coast.
our budget's a little tight,
Yeah.
so we can't really afford to stay there too much longer. And we actually are redeeming some free hotels that we had through hotels.com. So,
and then after that, we decided to go to Kochi.
So Kochi is very south, the southern tip of India. We've all this traveling that we're doing right now is in the northern half of India. The southern half, I'm told, is completely opposite.
We're told
really
it's a
hope-
completely different experience.
I really hope it is opposite.
We're expecting that things are going to be a little bit more laid back and a little bit less crazy, but we
Yeah.
don't know.
We don't know.
We've never been there.
So we're there for 1 week exactly, and then we're taking.
We got a Airbnb
Yes,
in
we're
Kochi.
staying. We're an Airbnb where we're renting a room, not a house.
So it's a homestay.
So that will be a new thing for us too.
Right.
So then from Kochi, we're going to fly out of Kochi back to New Delhi.
Mm-hmm.
Just one night.
Not leaving the airport. No, we do leave the airport for a hotel stay, but it's.
But
near
it's
the
not our old
airport.
hotel.
It's not the same hotel we stayed in previously.
No. So we no.
Yeah.
So we have a different hotel. We'll see how that is. But we're staying overnight in Delhi, and then from Delhi the next day, I'm so excited. We're going to Nepal, to Kathmandu.
Kathmandu.
Like, I'm so excited that I can tell people that I've been to Kathmandu.
Like, we know where it is.
We know where it is, and like, it's
I
a real
know.
place.
It's a real place. So what's that area well known for? Other than
Mount Everest.
Kathmandu.
Mount
That's where
Everest.
Mount Everest is.
Yes. So Kathmandu for about 14 days,
Mm-hmm.
13 days, I don't remember.
I don't
It's
know.
a little bit longer than a week.
We've timed it, not purposeful, but there's a big festival during that time period, so that'll be
Yes.
exciting.
Then after Kathmandu, we're heading to Thailand. We're going to be going to Chiang Mai. There's a lantern festival in Chiang Mai on the first weekend of November, the
And
full
we
moon.
did plan that on purpose.
That was planned. I have been wanting to go to Chiang Mai for this lantern festival since 2014. And because of situations at my current employment and just not the ability to leave the corporate world, I never really had
It
the
never
chance to
happened.
go.
And so, do you remember, when's our date? How long are we in Chiang Mai for? Until November what?
November 18th is when we have to fly out of Bangkok back to the States.
So we do have a gap of time that's still open. Was it? And is that between Nepal and Chiang Mai?
Nope. The gap of time is between Chiang Mai and then when we leave to go back to the States.
And how much time is that?
We have about a week.
About a week. So we purposely left that open because we weren't 100% sure what we wanted to do. We were looking at maybe going to nearby Cambodia, Vietnam. We're not exactly sure we're going to hit that on this trip because, first of all, it's not a trip of a lifetime. We're going to be
That's right.
coming back. So we're also waiting to see how we're doing with the budget at that point. And I don't know. We'll see. So that's still to be determined.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of what's going on. I am looking forward to moving on. For a woman, traveling in India has been a little challenging, a lot challenging. I packed a skirt and I packed a pair of pants and some leggings, and that's about like the only thing I have that covers my legs very much. And
I
that's
packed a
big
pair
deal.
of blue jeans that I've not worn a single time.
If you were a woman, you would be wearing them because you can't be showing this right here. This
Little
is
knee-
wildness to people.
knee, Yes.
And then and shoulders, oh my God, like
Let me show you the best thing. Let me show you the best thing that we brought. The smartest thing that we brought. What's this right
can you
here?
even see this? It's a lock.
I'll put it a little closer.
Whoop whoop.
It's a combination lock. And Francis, can you show the other
Oh
one?
yeah, so we have another one that we got that has a cable.
So this is a flexi cable too. And what's really good about the cable is basically it's so flexible you can put it around anything and then it just locks into
We
place
lock
like
up our
that.
backpacks.
And it's a combination lock, so you don't have to worry about a key. And then there's one with a longer cable. And what we have found at all the hotels we've been to so far, they have cabinets in the room, and you know you can string this around and wrap it around the cabinet handles, and you can leave your entire bags, your computer, camera gear, whatever you want to leave if you
Yeah.
just leave the room.
The worker bees that are in the hotels, you just don't really know what kind of life they live and where they are, and what might seem to be pretty trivial to us might be very important to them, and they might want to take it. So we just lock everything up, even if we just go out for a quick bite to eat.
Yep.
Everything gets locked up and put into the cabinet.
Yep.
So that's just something I would really
And
encourage you.
no one's tempted.
I think in the show notes that we'll be
Yep.
posting with this, we'll put some links on how to get to these locks. At some point in time, we would like to have some affiliate links where we do get a little cash to help us offset some of our expenses. But the links that we have set up right now, they're not affiliate.
Mm-hmm.
But I want you guys to know that. I think in full disclosure,
Sure.
you
Let's
need to know that.
close it up.
All right.
All right. So that's our impressions of India so far. Kind of
Day 11.
what we're doing on a day-to-day basis and what our future plans are. So continue to follow us on Facebook. It's a great way to do it. We'll continue to put little short videos on there from time to time. Follow our travel blog. I know I haven't put anything new out. It's just hard to find the time to edit photos and write blog posts.
We're so busy.
See? But there'll be some new stuff coming out soon. But you can follow us on www.silverfoxexplorer.com. So
Yep.
thank you guys for hanging in there and listening. And until we see you in the next video, peace out.
Hey, and if you have something that you want us to talk about specifically, gosh, put it in the comments, or every one of you people know how to get a hold of us.
If you've got questions, we would do another video
Yes.
episode or where we just go through
Yes.
and answer your questions. So leave those in the comments below. All
Or
right.
above or sideways.
Sideways. All right. Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.